Breaking news this midday, a man is now in custody facing charges for the deaths of an Irondequoit family nearly 2 weeks ago. Irondequoit police accused 34-year-old Julio Cesar Pimentel Soriano of being behind that heinous attack. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Stephanie Joseph. According to investigators, Soriano came here illegally and is wanted for another murder. In a release, Irondequoit police say the suspect is from the Dominican Republic and traveled to Puerto Rico and got fraudulent New York identification, allowing him to travel to the U.S. According to officers, Soriano killed Frame Ubaldo, Marangeli Moreno Santiago, Evangeline Ubaldo Moreno, and Sebastian Ubaldo Moreno in their house on Knapp Avenue. The family was found dead in their burning home. This midday, Soriano is in court to answer to those charges. Officers say they are still working to find more people wanted in connection to the incident, and that more information will be provided when.
And that's crazy because, you know, it came over, got illegal paperwork to even come in. Well, he got it from New York, so he was already here. Liberals welcome these people with open arms. They claim to care about black and brown lives, but this guy literally came here, entered illegally, killed a family, and set their house on fire. Nasty work, man. I don't know how any of this stuff is working out good for America. Nasty work. Hey, this your boy Veli. Welcome back to the channel. And I don't know how many times you could tell liberals that opening up our borders and just allowing anybody to come in and have free reign over our country is a terrible thing. Like, no matter how many times you tell these people that and all their supporters, they still won't get it. No matter how many people, like, one thing you have to understand, when you have these people from these places, and I'm not going to say all these places aren't civilized, because you do, but apparently for the most part, a lot of them aren't, if they have to flee their homeland to come to America. But you have these people that grow up in these type of systems, this type of corruption and crime, and they come here and bring it with them. They don't come here to assimilate. They come here to bring home with them. And it's pretty insane, man. It's pretty disgusting. And this is a great example of that right here in this video. I'm not even going to say much, man. Let's just get into the video.
It was here on the streets of Queen Anne Hill, overlooking downtown Seattle, where a seemingly minor traffic accident would kick off an hours-long crime spree that police say led to a 67-year-old woman being gunned down, an accused killer slipping past police, and an international manhunt taking investigators across the globe. There was simply no way for anyone here on these normally quiet streets that morning to know the chaos and tragedy that was coming. The first victim of January 26, 2024 was right here at 9th Avenue and Howe Street. She said that she got rear-ended, and when she got out to exchange information with the other driver, a man put a gun in her face, stole her car keys, and then took off in her SUV. And that's where the first video picks up. As Seattle police raced into the area, an officer's dash camera was recording when he said he saw that stolen Porsche SUV going east on Mercer Street. He zips through traffic to catch up to it and follows the car onto I-5 while radioing updates to other officers.
Checking plate 04970.
It was just south of downtown where the car swerves and then takes off. The officer attempts to follow, but he can't keep up. The carjacked Porsche gets away from police, but investigators say the suspects inside it aren't done yet. About 45 minutes later.
Like, does the cop have his sirens on? Like, why what's up with the cars, the way they moving? It's like he didn't even have his sirens on. But what's even crazier to me is that how they allowed him to get away. If this would have been any other time from what I've seen, it would have been multiple units on him, and they wouldn't have stopped following him. So, you know, I have a lot of questions when it comes to this.
Later at this QFC grocery store in Normandy Park, another camera captures that Porsche SUV pull into the parking lot. The driver gets out, then the passenger, and it's here where we see a clear shot of who police identify as Salman Haji. Next to him, police say that is then 19-year-old Illis Abdi.
Somalians. And like I said, like, wherever you go, you're going to find good people everywhere. You're going to find great people everywhere. But, you know, from what I know about Somalia, a lot of criminals come from Somalia. A lot of pirates, you know, a lot of, like, criminality, basically. So, you know, you just look at the crime that goes on in Minnesota and stuff like that. Now, like I said, I don't like to generalize nothing, but patterns don't lie, and that's why I leave it.
Inside the store, police say they are using the credit card of the woman they just carjacked to buy gift cards. After a few minutes, that video shows them take the gift cards and leave, getting back into the Porsche SUV, and police say moving on to their next target. 20 minutes later and 5 miles away in Tukwila, a camera is rolling as that Porsche SUV comes into the east parking lot of a Costco. Police say Salman Haji is in the passenger seat and Illis Abdi is behind the wheel. Another camera captures these two women walking to their car with no hint of the danger they are about to face. The camera shows them load groceries as the Porsche drives by, then flips around and heads back, stopping right behind the women. This is when police say Salman Haji gets out of the car and approaches the driver to steal her purse. There's a struggle, and the passenger, 67-year-old Yuan Ming, tries to help her sister. You can't see it here, but inside the car, police say Haji hits the driver with his gun, then shoots Ming in the chest. He runs back to the Porsche and they speed off, this camera recording that stolen Porsche leaving the area. First responders raced in and tried to save Ming's life, but she died. Bystanders were in shock after what happened.
It was devastating because
Now, what part of any of this, you know, what would make a foreigner think that they can just ride around taking people's cars, robbing old women, hits the old woman with a gun and then shoots her and kills her just because she don't want to give up her purse? You know, what's going through these people's mind to where they feel like they can do that? And, you know, when you come into a place looking for a better life, you know, what would drive somebody to do that? These people come over here and get spoiled with welfare, grants, zero interest loans from the Office of New Americans. They get put on a pedestal. They get taken better care of than regular Americans. Like people who were born here generations deep. So I can't really fathom why do they come here and create so much crime if they're looking for a better life. If somebody knows the answer to that, please leave it in the comments or post a link to where I can get some insight on that, because I just don't understand that.
devastating because I could tell it was an elderly woman too. You could just, it's just the whole scene was just nasty.
It looks like someone climbed over the fence right there.
Seattle police and the carjacking victim were able to use a GPS tracker to locate the Porsche in a parking lot behind a church in the city of SeaTac.
I think they wiped it down because that's dry earth. It's been rained on. There's a medical mask and receipts, like ATM receipts.
Well, one of the suspect descriptions, they had a blue mask on.
Yeah. In the days after the shooting, police said very little about what had happened and their investigation. But behind the scenes, investigators knew if they could solve the carjacking in Seattle, they could likely solve the murder in Tukwila. Now, the victim of the carjacking said that her credit card was used at the QFC grocery store. Remember that video of the store entrance and the gift cards at the cash register? Well, that became a top priority for investigators. And this moment, when the suspect turns his head. At first, investigators didn't know who this was, but they put out a police bulletin asking if any cops in the area knew him. They did.
And you know why nobody knows who this was? Because these people over here, they come over here, they don't get vetted at all. We have no medical history, we have no criminal history, we have nothing on these people. And we have millions of them allowed into the country under the Biden regime. And nobody, like, they got a ticket here, you got court here, and then they were just released into the country to do whatever they wanted. Nasty work, man. What did people really think was going to come from this?
Did. An officer from Des Moines police said that he recognized this person as Salman Haji, and police said this still image matched Haji's driver's license photo. But that wasn't enough. They had to turn to the stolen SUV in hopes that perhaps the killers had left behind clues. Now, according to charging documents, crime scene investigators found two.
And what's even more troubling is that they wiped the car clean, got rid of the license plate and a lot of other stuff. So that shows intent to commit crime. So they come over here intentionally commit crime, just like you got now. That I'm gonna touch on in one of my other videos. You have foreign crime rings coming here. They're looting all the stores. They created like shoplifting rings. all type of stuff. They came here like crime wave shot up through the roof, and they came here with crime rings, prostitution criminal rings, theft and larceny criminal rings. They came here organized to do this stuff. And you still get like I seen a bunch of Africans in a video stealing from this store. Half of them even barely spoke English. But this is the problem that I have with that stuff. You got a lot of these right-wing racist people and a lot of these other just plain out racists. They equate that to the black people, black Americans. Oh, that's them doing that. Hold up. I'm American. These people aren't even from here. Like, black Americans aren't Africans. I don't care how much people love to put them in the same boat. No. And nationality matters. We're American. These people aren't. To come here and create crime rings and do all this stuff is disgusting. And they should be held accountable for that solely. Like, it's disgusting, guys.
2 sets of prints on this SUV, one matching Salman Haji and the other coming back to Illis Abdi. The court documents don't say exactly what date investigators identified Haji and Abdi as their suspects in the carjacking and murder, but there is one very important date, February 1st, which is 5 days after the murder of Yuan Ming. That day would change the course
Kill an
of
innocent
the entire
grandma, bro.
investigation.
It's disgusting. Just shopping.
While police were still quiet, a social media account known for posting about gangs and crime in Seattle made a post identifying Haji as the Costco killer. Within a day, investigators say Haji came here to the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport and boarded a flight. Investigators say he went to Africa. But again,
what do you know? What do you know? You come here to the land of freedom and opportunity where you want a better life. Come over here, kill somebody's grandma, and then go right back to your homeland. Interesting.
Talking about any of this publicly at the time, leaving many to wonder if investigators would ever solve the case. Then, a few weeks later, there was another shooting down the road in Kent. In this case, a teenager was shot in the head and killed, and there was no connection at the time to the Costco shooting. But as Kent investigators dug into it, they came up with a suspect, Illis Abdi. And in May of 2024, Abdi was arrested for the Kent shooting, and then the next week, he and Haji were both charged with the murder of Yuan Ming. While Abdi was now in jail, investigators turned their attention to figuring out how to get Haji back to Washington. Like everything in this case, they kept their work quiet. Then, earlier this month, Salman Haji was booked into the King County Jail and given a bail of $5 million. The FBI says they tracked him down in Nairobi, Kenya, and brought him back to Seattle. With both suspects now in custody, the next step here is for the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. Critical to that will be some of those videos that you have just seen. Now, Illis Abdi, who's been in custody for more than a year, he has pleaded not guilty to these charges. Salman Haji, of course, he was just brought back to the United States last week. He hasn't faced a judge yet. We expect that to happen late next week. One of the main questions that I've heard here is, why did all of this happen? Well, the Tukwila Police Department put out a statement and they reiterated they believe that this was an attempted robbery in the parking lot of that Costco. Haji, who's the accused shooter, also faces a federal charge of carjacking for stealing that woman's Porsche SUV right here in Queen Anne.
And you know what? If you're a foreigner, you come over here and commit crimes, they should all be federal. It should all be federal crimes. None of that should be state. You should not get charged on a state. It should be federal because you're not a citizen. And I wonder how many more of these crimes are gonna occur, man. Until people understand, like, we have to get a grip on migration into this country. Even if we have to have a cool off period, man, we have to vet these people. We have so many people here that we don't know nothing about. It was a killer that they found out here. He was already I think he was already found guilty of murder in Colombia. Like, he was basically a hitman. And Homeland Security let him through at the border and realized they made a mistake and came and got him, like, what, 2-3 months later, when he was already living in Massachusetts somewhere. It's like, yo, like, how many Americans could he have killed in a 3-month span he was here? Because you guys made a mistake. Like, come on, man. Like, it's going to cost more Americans' lives, and it's just down the toilet from here, man. We have to get a grip on what's happening in this country, man, or else we're going to look like the third world countries that are coming here, man. Nasty work. Y'all seen it like I seen it. Catch you on the next one. Julio.